Do you want to do more than follow orders? Think outside of the box and manifest your dreams? Then you've come to the right show. Welcome to the award-winning podcast, Holding Down the Fort by US VetWealth. I'm your host, Jen Amos, a Gold Star daughter, veteran spouse, and entrepreneur. For Season 8, we continue our wonderful partnership with the Rosie Network to highlight motivational stories of personal growth, financial awareness, and autonomy in our military community. We're also excited to showcase our partnership with Blue Water Advisors. Well, we have a lot in store for you this season, so let's get started. All right, hey everyone. Oh my goodness, can you believe it? We are at the end of Season 8 for Holding Down the Fort by US VetWealth in partnership with the Rosie Network and Blue Water Advisors. I got to tell you, this is the last episode, and this is actually the last recording that I'm doing for this season. And I know you're thinking in your mind, you're like, what are you talking about? Of course, it's the last recording. It's the season finale. And I'll have you know, and I talk about this extensively in our free portal, which you can join today at holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. We have a private podcast on there that's available for free called Inside the Fort. Clever, right? I know, I came up with it. But yeah, I talk extensively about just the process of putting a podcast together. If you've been following the show and especially watching us on YouTube, you'll find that my background changes quite often. And that is because for the majority of doing the show, I have been moving. I've moved quite frequently, and it's hilarious because I'm a civilian, Yes, I'm a Gold Star daughter and I'm a veteran spouse. I'm also a civilian. And it's funny how sometimes, like when I think about how transient my life is, how reflective it is of my childhood, having been a military kid. Nonetheless, this location I'm currently at right now, and I'm still trying to figure out recording and my background and stuff. The only reason why I'm positioned like this, if you're watching on YouTube, is because this is the only angle I could find where there's minimal glare in my glasses. So y'all are welcome. You could see my face. And so yeah, that's why I'm holding my microphone over here while also trying to show you guys my eye contact. But yeah, it's very meaningful to have arrived to this point to get to the season finale. These last two seasons, Season 7 and Season 8, have really been a change. It's been a shift in the way that I have approached Holding Down the Fort. In the past, I used to, let's say, for example, I would schedule a guest, interview a guest, do the post-production, publish it, market it, send out a newsletter, do it all within 1 to 3 week turnaround. And it was a lot. It was a lot to do everything all at once. And I know that some content creators prefer doing that. I have just found that in time, 200 plus episodes later, that it just was a lot for me to do that. And so I've learned, and like I said, I talk about this extensively in our private podcast, Inside the Fort, which you can join for free today at holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. I talk extensively about what it means to be a content creator and, to kind of break down that fourth wall for all of you and see that being able to produce a podcast comes in phases, And so it's been quite a journey, and I have just been so grateful that this season, Season 8, was a lot smoother than Season 7 was, because Season 7, it was all about establishing a new tone, a new message, a new mission for the show. And this season was kind of like a copy and paste from last year. Speaking of which, I do want to take this opportunity to thank the Rosie Network, Stephanie Brown and the whole team there, Trisha and Ken and Ebeth and everyone that I've been communicating with to rally the Service to CEO graduates to be a guest on the show. In the past, we would interview people based off of word of mouth or recommendations or, just my own search of trying to find people for the show. And partnering up with the Rosie Network has been such a game changer because because the Rosie Network does just such an incredible job vetting their guests, making sure that they have a military affiliation to be able to go through the Service as CEO program. And so it's just been great to trust the Rosie Network and trust their vetted members to be on the show and share their story of what it means for them to be military connected and starting a business. When you think about the military, it's commonly known that it's a culture of following orders. There's systems, there's processes, there's standard operating procedures to being in the military. And entrepreneurship is completely opposite of that. It depends, obviously. It depends, like if you get a franchise or, you get hired into a big business or whatever. But, for everyone who decides to start a business from scratch, which is what a lot of these cohort members in the Service as CEO program have done, it's just completely opposite to what it means to be in the military. And so it's so great that a nonprofit such as the Rosie Network really has a tried and true program to, help these military entrepreneurs start off on the right foot, And I actually have been fortunate to shout out to Melissa Purnell. She was a previous guest in this season, and she had invited me to speak about digital marketing to a Service CEO cohort program a couple of weeks ago. And to be able to, see what these members have to go through and their persistence, their grit, their commitment to completing the program. Because I was talking with one of the cohort members who happens to be a friend of mine, and you shout out to Kim Nguyen. And she mentioned that, within the first 2 weeks of being a part of the cohort program, a lot of the members had already dropped off because I think they didn't understand that it would require a lot of bandwidth on their end to be able to be a part of this program. And so for everyone that sticks around, it's admirable. It's admirable to shift your mindset and pursue something new, such as entrepreneurship. So it's just been such a pleasure to have dedicated, half of the season to just interviewing these budding to seasoned to, advanced entrepreneurs. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of it, and hearing their stories, living vicariously through their stories inspires me, as an entrepreneur who has been self-employed for 14 years now. It's just nice to know that I'm not alone in the hustle. And also on the flip side, I do want to give a shout out to Mike Wallace with Blue Water Advisors. They are a organization that focuses on our military senior ranking officers in finding employment in post-military. Mike Wallace likes to describe it as career progression. Rather than calling it military retirement or military transition, he calls it career progression. And I really like that phrase. I really like that reframe, so that our military retirees don't look at it as starting over, but more so as progressing in their careers, progressing in life. And knowing that there is a way to translate your skills in the military to something in the civilian workplace, or translating it in a way to pursue something different, and knowing how to do that and having the support. One thing I really appreciate about the Rosie Network and Blue Water Advisors, what they both have in common is what the military culture is all about, which is doing things together, doing things as a unit. The Rosie Network and Blue Water Advisors are huge support systems for anyone that's interested in pursuing entrepreneurship or, looking for that career progression in post-military life. So it's just been an absolute honor. Mike Wallace has been a great brand partner here at US VetWealth. And I'm just so grateful that he was more than accepting for me to take all the replays, all the live show replays that he had done with my husband, Scott, and showcase it here on Holding Down the Fort by US VetWealth. So I hope that, in this whole experience, anyone who watches or has listened to the show got what they were looking for, whether it's, peering into the life of an entrepreneur, or whether it's getting the tips and tricks you need for your career progression, for your new opportunities of employment in post-military life. It's been an absolute pleasure showcasing everyone, and that's definitely one thing that I personally have learned in this journey. When I first started Holding Down the Fort, I thought that everyone wanted to be an entrepreneur. I thought everyone wanted to be an entrepreneur. Everyone wanted to dictate their schedule. Everyone wanted to design their life. And what I had come to find is that you can do that in entrepreneurship and you can do that in employment. The common thread between both of them is pursuing it with intention. And I think that's the key here when it comes to military retirement or post-military life, or even while you're in active duty, is, are you living your life with purpose and intention, and joy? And if not, if you don't know how, I hope that you got at least one golden nugget, one piece of advice, one piece of inspiration from at least one person in this recent season. I've learned that there's nothing entrepreneurship or employment. Neither one is better or worse than the other. It's just a preference. It's just a preference on how you want to generate income and sustainable income, for you and your family. And also, they're not separate. You can do them. You can do one and the other. You can work full time and have a business on the side. You can do both. It's very possible. And so I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to, hopefully you listen to enough stories to cherry pick and decide how you want to be able to, live your life with intention. You want to live your life in a way that allows you to, think outside of the box, do more than follow orders, and manifest your dreams, whatever that looks like for you. So once again, thank you to the Rosie Network and Blue Water Advisors for this partnership this season. And also I want to give a shout out to my husband, Scott, my business partner and my co-host for the episodes that I was taking a break from, especially the ones where he was co-hosting with Mike Wallace. Just thank you. Thank you. I love you. Little too corny. And yes, it's like I've been stressing throughout the season, and I hope that this has been impressed upon you that when it comes to pursuing anything, it takes a village, it takes support, it takes community. It's very rare for anyone to succeed by themselves. And I hope that you got the inspiration here, the inspiration and the encouragement and the hope and the excitement to want to do life with others, to want to continue to do life with others in post-military life, whether it's, getting the support you need to start a business and or, the support you need to find your next employment, your next career progression. All right. Well, that being said, let me go ahead and talk about what's going on and what to expect in the off season here. So first announcement, first big question is Holding Down the Fort coming back for another season? And the answer is yes. Yes, we are coming back. We will be back in the fall season. So I believe that will be mid-September of 2024. So be on the lookout. Yes, we are continuing our partnership with the Rosie Network. By the time this final episode comes out, I may have already reached out to graduates from the Rosie Network's Service to CEO program. I may have started the interview process at the time that this recording gets published. And we will continue to showcase our partnership, US VetWealth's partnership with Blue Water Advisors and Mike Wallace. And for the next season, I'm excited to also showcase another live show that my husband does. And if you want to get a hint at what that other live show is, this other live show will be featuring one of our colleagues here at US VetWealth. If you want to get a hint at that now, I highly encourage you to check out our YouTube channel. That's the username for our YouTube channel is at USVWTV. That's USVW as in US VetWealth TV. You can go ahead and search that username on YouTube and you will get a hint as to, if you look in the live shows section of our YouTube channel, you'll get a preview of who we will be showcasing, who works with us at US VetWealth in the fall season. So yes, we have more people to feature, more people to share with all of you. And I'm excited. I'm excited, and I hope you are too, especially if you really enjoyed the season and you are hungry for more. In the meantime, while we're in the off season and you still want to stay in touch, or you still want to know what's going on in the off season, or you still want additional content, well, first and foremost, I highly encourage that you join our free portal. You can subscribe to our free private podcast, Inside the Fort, by simply joining and becoming a member at holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. Really excited for this portal. There's a ton of content in there, a ton of commentary from me about, my journey as an entrepreneur and as a podcaster. And I even provide a lot of bonus content that may be helpful for you, especially if you are following a similar path as me, as a content creator, as a podcaster, as an entrepreneur, all for free by simply joining holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. If you prefer to do something a little more less committal, which, hey, I'm here to meet you where you're at. One, I already thank you for subscribing to the podcast. If you want to continue to stay plugged in, you can also check us out on social media. We're pretty much on every social media you can think of: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok. Any of those platforms that you prefer, feel free to subscribe. You can, find our links on our website, holdingdownthefortpodcast.com. If you just want to stay in touch and you want to see bonus content, you want to see content in the off season, any of those platforms, I highly encourage you to subscribe to. If you want to know what's going on maybe once a month. We do have a newsletter as well. The link is available in the show notes of this episode or by visiting holdingdownthefortpodcast.com. And yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. I mean, I highly, highly encourage you, if you want to engage with me and talk with me directly, the easiest way to get a hold of me is through our portal, which again is holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. I am on there almost every day. And our portal is housed under US VetWealth's online portal, Military Retirement Blueprint. So not only will you be getting access to our private podcast show, Inside the Fort, but you will also get access to all the free resources that US VetWealth has to offer, especially for military retirees that are looking for alternative solutions in the private marketplace for military benefits, such as Survivor Benefit Plan and the Thrift Savings Plan. And that's just a few of the things that we like to talk about in our portal. Yeah, and that's kind of it, y'all. Those are the updates. You know, very often, every now and then people ask me, Jen, you have such a great show. What can I do to show you my gratitude? Well, other than the call to actions that I have already listed, such as joining our portal at holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal or subscribing to any of our social media accounts. You know, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, or subscribe to our newsletter, or, you know, check out our US VetWealth YouTube. So many call to actions. There's so many, I'm telling you. But if you're still like, okay, I want to do more though, what can I do? Well, first and foremost, thank you. Secondly, you know, I think the two biggest things that I would ask for is to just share the podcast. Like if you are inspired by any stories that you heard in this season, share it. You know, there could be someone in the military community that you could be helping, that you could be empowering, that you can change their life just by one of these interviews. And lastly, if you really, really, really want to express gratitude, again, if you do all the above and or, I would love for you to leave a review for the show. You can leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts, on Podchaser, and or my LinkedIn profile. You can find me on LinkedIn and leave a review there. I do all of this in my private office. I do all of this solo, not solo, but I do all this without an audience. And so the greatest compliment I can get, the greatest feedback I can get is a review from you or even an email, you know, however you see fit. But nonetheless, I see the downloads on our podcast and I just got to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all the things. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to the Rosie Network, to Blue Water Advisors, to my husband, to you, the listener. Thank you, thank you. I'm eternally grateful. It's been an absolute pleasure having hosted this show for 200 plus episodes now. And here's to the next 200. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. I hope you all have a great summer. It is hot here. It's over 80 degrees right now. I have my window open. I have my AC, my little portable AC in my face right now, and it's hot. So I'm excited to take the summer off. But once again, you know, if you want to stay in touch, you know how to do that. Just rewind a couple of minutes and you'll find out why. So, all right. Thanks so much, y'all. That's it. I'm done. There's not even any post commentary. This is the final commentary of season 8. So take care. Have a happy summer. Have a good summer. And I'll see you in the fall season. Bye for now. Hey, this is your host, Jen Amos. Thanks again for listening to today's episode of Holding Down the Fort by US VetWealth. Visit holdingdownthefortpodcast.com to access the full show notes of this episode, including resources mentioned and bonus content. Once again, that's holdingdownthefortpodcast.com. Lastly, stay after this outro music for something a little extra. Thanks again and chat soon. Bye for now. Oh, hey, everyone. I guess you listened to this episode all the way through and you heard my outro that there might be some bonus content after the outro music. Well, here it is. And it's actually quite anticlimactic because all I'm going to tell you is if you want to stay in touch in the off season, I highly encourage you to join our portal. It's free. Just go to holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. And from there, you can subscribe to our free private podcast, Inside the Fort. And hey, you might get some inside scoop as to what else will be happening for the next season in fall of 2024, such as, so I haven't said this yet, such as the potential of bringing back past guests from the original first 200 episodes. That may or may not happen, but you will only know when you join holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. One of the things I may or may not be really interested in doing is checking in with past guests and seeing how they've been doing. So stay tuned for that. Once again, holdingdownthefortpodcast.com/portal. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching and have a great summer. Bye for now.